Trigun Stampede, the latest piece of evidence that only solidifies my belief that old equals good and new equals bad. There is almost no reason to watch Trigun Stampede. Everything this series attempts to do was already done better over 2 decades ago. I mean, you don't even need to start the show to see the problem. Just look at the logos. One is aggressively 90s, it's filled with bullet holes and personality. It stands out. But Stampede's is all clean and corporate and modern. But you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, so let's look at episode 1 of each series. In the 90s version, we start out in a seedy bar where we hear some rumors about the terrible $60 billion double-dollar humanoid typhoon, Vash the Stampede, while a sharp-dressed man in red silently finishes his drink. Then some banditos absolutely demolish the bar, and a couple of insurance agents and a bounty hunter show up to find Vash the Stampede. But no one knows who that is because Blondie is a brainless, Mr. Mohawk's too fat, and Clint Eastwood is an American hero. He would never do a terrorism. Then the goofball beats the bad guys and kinda destroys the town he was staying in. This same kind of thing is mentioned towards the start of the episode, meaning it's a pattern for disaster to follow this guy wherever he goes. And yet, no one died. But just as quickly as he showed up, the tall blonde guy in red rides off into the sunset, leaving the audience and the insurance girls unsure of how someone like this could be Vash the Stampede. Episode 1 sets the tempo for the 90s series. You get amazing animation whenever people whip out their guns to blow stuff up, memorable character designs for even the most minor of characters, a distinct and hard-hitting soundtrack made up of rock and jazz, and all of that is just packaging for a story about a mysterious man who puts the bad in badass. And what's Stampede's first episode like? It's sort of the same thing, but not really. It starts off with Vash and his brother Knives escaping a space crash, only to jump ahead to the future to focus on Roberto and his new partner, Meryl, as they do a journalism. Then they run into Vash, who was just hanging around outside of town. Also, he's not the $60 billion double-dollar humanoid typhoon, just a $6 million double-dollar tomfoolery enthusiast. Not Best Girl and the alcoholic decide he might be worth keeping an eye on since he's seemingly responsible for some killings and the destruction of plants, but just doesn't really seem the type. The episode ends with a duel that quickly gets out of hand, but the town is saved thanks to Meryl and Vash. In the same way that episode 1 of the 90s show set the tempo for what's to come, episode 1 of Stampede is more or less indicative of every following episode. And that means that the problems that plague this series are almost immediately apparent. Stampede is rushed, and I don't mean the production though. Yeah, the animation, it's not really my thing, but I'm talking about the story itself. It starts off with the ending to the Seeds Project story, only to fast forward to show you how Vash meets Meryl, but then go back to the end to really make sure you know Vash has a brother and he's pretty evil. Doing it this way pretty much undercuts everything. We didn't get any time to spend on Knives or Rem or any of the other people on those spaceships. In fact, we don't know anything about Vash before it all goes down either. Instead, Stampede ends an arc that never got started, and it's only been like 2 minutes. 90s Trigun put off talking about the Seeds Project until halfway through the series. Sometimes bits and pieces of Vash's past might get sprinkled in here and there, but it was all intentionally unexplored. It added to the mystery surrounding this goofball gunslinger who didn't kill but could communicate with ancient technology. You didn't know what to think, you were just as lost as Meryl and Wolfwood, but not Best Girl because she's built different. 90s Trigun took its time building the mystery, but in just one episode, Stampede already gives you the answer to the questions you didn't have time to ask. Look at Vash's design, right? Yeah, I'm aware they yassified the humanoid typhoon, but really soak in the details of this new look. Do any of these differences add anything? Ditching Vash's trademark spiky hair was a bold choice, but it can be justified if there's good reason for it. 90s Vash had spiky hair because of Rem. It was an easy way to show her influence on Vash and his beliefs. His hair only comes back down after he has a gamer moment and levels another city, because he felt like he wasn't worthy of the look anymore. He couldn't be the good-natured man Rem believed him to be. So is there a reason like that for Stampede Vash to have wavy hair? No, he just has wavy hair. It's not a meaningful change. It's change made for the sake of change, just like the bigger glasses and smaller gun. It's superficial, and it's only meant to make this show look different from what came before. The worst offender is the cybernetic arm that Vash now has on full display because it actively takes away another mystery. You guys remember when Vash was fighting the first gung-ho gun, and in the middle of the fight, when everyone thought Vash was out of bullets, he reveals that his left arm has been a gun this whole time, and we didn't even realize it. We see a new side to Needle Noggin in the form of this hidden gun that could have been used at any time to kill his opponent. And that means this guy and every other opponent that came before. Yeah, he used it once on some robots when he really did run out of ammo, but he never used it on another person. But this time, things were different. People died right in front of Vash, and something inside him changed, or maybe broke out. We're 12 episodes in, and this is the first time where it looks like Vash might actually kill a man. And the fact that Vash has a gun where his arm should be serves as yet another indication, but not yet firm confirmation, that he probably isn't human. None of those things would work if he had them all happen in episode 1. And what does Stampede do? Yeah, just give him a cool metal arm. I mean, everyone can see it. Why not? Who cares? Just do an Edward Elric, you know, a Winter Soldier. People think they're cool, right? No, don't do that. Exercise restraint. Don't just literally show your hand right off the bat. Does it seem like I'm harping on this too much? I feel compelled to mention it because it carries over to all of the other stuff too. Like, why introduce Wolfwood and then in the very same episode show that he's working for the bad guys too? It's like Orange was just so excited to get to the part where Vash and Wolfwood have to fight each other that they just fast-tracked every interaction to get to the quote-unquote good stuff. Meanwhile, 90s Trigun had Wolfwood pop up multiple times to hang out with Vash and flirt with Millie before his evil allegiance was revealed. Stampede isn't fast-paced, it's poorly paced. Dial things back a bit, you know? Take things slow. It's okay to just hang out with characters in low-stakes episodes for a while. A little bit of filler can go a long way, but that's a different topic altogether. The main issue with Stampede is that it can't decide who it's for. Is it trying to be a show for fans of the old anime, or is it trying to be a brotherhood for manga fans? Or is it trying to be its own thing and cater to new fans who have never watched or read Trigun before? That last option seems to be the intention, which is probably why I dislike this show. Let me explain. It's no secret that the 90s anime is a certified classic that owes most of its popularity to the greatest country in the world. Its success in America is what allowed a movie to be made some years later after that English dub hit Toonami. And the thing about the American fan base is that most of us have only watched the anime, an anime that didn't follow the manga all that closely. Now, with that being the case, you'd think Trigun would get the Brotherhood treatment to try to fill in all the anime-onlys on what happens in the manga. But no, instead, we get the MCU treatment. Just pick a bunch of characters and locations from the source material and make your own thing. This is a great approach to entice people who never experienced Trigun before. You don't need to watch some old anime that went off script or read a manga that only the hardcore fans checked out to be able to consume this product. But why would you watch this version over the 90s series? I can't imagine it's an easier sell to the modern anime fan to watch a fully CGI show over some classic cell animation. And it's not like it's that difficult to find Trigun online these days anyways. While Stampede may sometimes be closer to the manga in terms of material covered, does that really matter here? To all of the manga fans currently suffering my opinion, either cover up your ears or prepare to forgive me, because I'm about to say the most horrible thing in the world. I don't care about the source material.
It's over.
Alright, that was a bit of an exaggeration. I only care about a show sticking to the source material if I actually like the source material. I love FMA 2003. A lot of the things I love about that anime are not present in the manga. Do I care that these things are not present in the manga? No, because I'd argue that these things are better than what's in the manga. I've never read the Trigun manga, but I know that some of my favorite aspects of the anime, like the mystery behind Vash and the comedic interactions between the four main leads, are not all that present in the manga. Now, if Stampede was a faithful adaptation, then this might be a bigger point, but it's not. Stampede is a reboot of the 90s anime, with certain aspects of the manga slotted in there, resulting in a show that doesn't feel like either of the things it's taking from. You know what it does feel like? It feels like a modern AAA title in a beloved franchise that rushed its launch, and now you're sitting there waiting for things you expected to be there on day one to maybe get patched in sometime next year. Oh, don't worry guys, we know you'll love Millie Thompson. That's why we decided to shelve her until season 2. Just look at it this way, you can get all excited when you finally get the thing that was already there day one with the older version. I wish I could like Stampede, I really do, but right now, it ain't it. I was hoping to see another side to Trigun, something that didn't try to replace the 90s version, but complement it. I like that Full Metal Alchemist has two versions that I can enjoy for different reasons. But this, I can't enjoy this. I know it's trying to be its own thing, but how am I not supposed to compare it to what came before when it's filled with half-baked versions of the same characters? If you're just gonna be a donkey wearing a lion skin and calling yourself the king of the jungle, then at least give me the best of the basic stuff. Where's my badass Vash design? Where's my iconic instrumental opening? Where's my favorite not-so-little lady?
Hello.
Hello.
Am I wrong? Have I become the elitist I never wanted to be? Let me know in the comments where you stand on Trigun Stampede, and until next time, Ave Maria, Deus Vult, and remember boys, love and peace.